Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the PT on Ice Daily Show, Fitness Athlete Friday edition. I'm your host, Dr. Zach Long, lead faculty inside of the Fitness Athlete Division, teaching in the Advanced Concepts and our live course there. Excited to talk to you today about some lessons that I think we as a profession need to take away from this coronavirus epidemic. It's Fitness Athlete Friday, so we're gonna have a little bit of a fitness athlete bias to this discussion, but I think even if you don't treat fitness athletes or have a desire to treat them, you're gonna hopefully come away with a few ideas that translate well into both your clinical practice as well as your business side of things. So we're gonna discuss 3 lessons here in just a minute. But before we do that, we have a couple of upcoming online courses that you can check out at ptonice.com. Next week, we have our Persistent Pain Comprehensive Management and our Older Adult Essential Foundations courses starting. Both of those all online. The following week, so May 18th through 25th, we have our Fitness Athlete Pregnancy and Postpartum course, our Older Adult Advanced Concepts course, as well as Rob Vining firing up the next cohort of Telehealth, Building Your Digital Practice. So let's dive into some lessons that I either personally have learned during coronavirus, or I think we as a profession need to learn from coronavirus that hopefully helps us out both clinically and business-wise. So the first lesson is something that I've known for a long time, and a lot of you have already known for a long time, but I think coronavirus really drove this home a little bit more, reminded me of how important the community aspect of the fitness athlete population is. When we talk fitness athletes, we're talking about people that exercise with performance-based metrics in mind. So a lot of times we're talking about CrossFit, but that can also refer to people doing Orange Theory or refer to people going to little boutique gyms, etc. The community of the fitness athlete is incredibly important to them. So why have we seen this become so important lately? Well, if you look at stats on closures, about 90% of CrossFit affiliates in the United States are currently closed because of the coronavirus, 80% of CrossFit affiliates worldwide. So you would really expect that this rapid closure of gyms would negatively affect the community because so many people can't make it into their gyms, but I think we've seen the opposite happen in the fitness athlete community. So it's been really cool to see so many gyms open their doors up and they let members come in and check out pieces of equipment so that those members can continue to stay active while at home. And then from home, all of these gyms have started a number of different ways of keeping their athletes motivated and moving. And so we've seen a lot of gyms adopt like virtual classes like many of us have in our own physical therapy practices. So their members are getting together at normal class times to meet on a platform such as Zoom and do virtual classes. So the coach is taking them through a warm-up, taking them through some mobility work, talking about the points of performance that they want to see happen in this workout. During the workout, the coach is cheering them on. They're giving them coaching cues. That has been unbelievable to see. My gym's doing that. My gym's also created some different private Facebook groups for its members. So members are in there posting the workouts that they have coming up. Other people are jumping on and commenting and encouraging them, asking them how the workout went. The group is regularly sending kind of private messages to each other, just checking in on everybody. I'm fairly new to my gym, and so there's been a number of people that I don't even have long relationships with, or people that I don't even usually talk to on a regular basis when I go to the gym, that have been messaging me, checking in on how everything's going, and that has just been unbelievable from a community feel. And I really think that this coronavirus is gonna bring the community feel of the fitness athlete even tighter when we get back to normalcy. Now, why is that important to us as physical therapists? Is kind of the big key to this talk here. Well, Mitch Allen and myself regularly get messages from other physical therapists wanting to develop their business around the fitness athlete population, wanting to start treating more CrossFit athletes, for example. And usually when somebody sends us an email or a message or talks to us during a course, they have a bunch of different marketing ideas for it. They want to go in and do a functional movement screen for all the members of the gym, or they want to start doing free injury screens. And the first question we always ask that individual is, are you a member of this gym? Have you ever done CrossFit? And we're shocked at how often people have never worked out at this gym, never had a conversation with that gym, or never even done CrossFit as a whole, or whatever that they're marketing to. And with the community aspect being so important, like we've just discussed, I don't think you're going to get any traction unless you're actually in the trenches with these folks. They respect people that are in the gym with them, that are working out, that are sweating, that are trying to make that next goal happen. And so if you want to market to this population, don't come up with a crazy marketing scheme to do it. Get in the gym, sweat for a while. Have your soul crushed a little bit in a couple of these workouts. Like I did yesterday in the Gut Check Thursday that had a ton of burpees. That one stunk, but I stuck in. And if you stick in, the members of that gym are going to respect you, trust you, and ultimately they'll come to see you. And you won't need as many of those marketing ideas. They just want people that know what it's like to do what they do. So make sure you're in the community and you stick with it for a while, and then referrals will come in. The community aspect cannot be overlooked. Lesson number 2 was really personal for me, and that's the ability of performance-based programming to counter the loss of patients in the clinic. And maybe you don't do performance-based programming yet, or maybe that's not the population you work with, but I think we all need to be thinking about how we can diversify our services beyond just physical therapy in a volatile market. So obviously, we've all seen significant changes in our business's gross revenue with the widespread closures and government restrictions that have been put in place to decrease the spread of coronavirus. Maybe your clinic didn't have to close, or you chose not to close, and you probably still saw significant decline. So at Onward Charlotte, we closed for 6 weeks. If you didn't close, I'm sure you've seen less patients show up because they're trying to decrease their exposure. So we've all seen decreases in our bottom line. We moved to virtual only appointments, and that transition came with a significant decrease in the number of patients we were seeing. We still saw a good number of people virtually, but we kind of just hit a spot where for a couple months, Jordan, my business partner here, had hit max capacity for a while, and we were really excited about how that was trending. And then obviously this hits and kind of derails that, which was disappointing. Things like telehealth are great to start to work on combating that loss of patients during a time like this, but I think we need to branch out more than that. And what really pointed me towards this and has me thinking more and more about this is what happened in my other business ventures. So I own Onward Charlotte with Jordan and Onward Physical Therapy with Jordan, Barry, and Jeff Moore, but I also have my own personal business, the Barbell Physio. And underneath that business, we have something we call Performance Plus Programming. So in that, I sell 4 to 6 week programs online that try to help fitness athletes reach their performance goals. So maybe you're trying to develop your first strict muscle up, maybe you're trying to improve your ankle mobility. I have a program for it that you can go to my website and buy. And typically, over the last 3 years of doing that, I really know month by month what to expect from a growth standpoint. I know what percentage on average I see grow every month. I know what happens when I run my Memorial Day sale. I know what happens when I launch a new program. And I can predict numbers fairly well at this point within my business. When coronavirus came out, obviously that derailed my thoughts of launching any new programs because members aren't in their gyms. They have access to less equipment. So we were going to launch a new butterfly pull-up program, which I expected to be a huge hit, but members don't have access to a rig right now quite often. So we decided to not launch that. And because we didn't have a new program coming out, because members aren't going to the gym as much because 90% of CrossFit gyms in the United States are closed, I really expected a significant decrease in my revenue. And I was shocked to see quite the opposite. I was shocked that in a month where I had no sales and no new program launches, that I actually saw a good growth in my online business. And that to me was a big smack in the face of something that I should have already known. It's that fitness athletes care so much about their performance. And that's something that we really need to think about. So instead of seeing a decline, I saw growth during the past 2 months where things have been really up in the air. So at Onward Charlotte, we had a number of plans to launch some performance-based things here in the clinic, which I wish we'd been able to get done before coronavirus, but just time constraints. Jordan and I weren't able to get all of that done and start marketing that stuff. which I think would have significantly helped with our bottom line had we been able to do that. But you can bet that as soon as we get back open, we're going to be launching this performance-based stuff in the clinic so that when future things show up, we're better prepared to handle market changes. And I think we really, really need to think about this as a whole. So if you're not diversifying a little bit, your business is susceptible to future changes. For example, China just reclosed its CrossFit gyms due to coronavirus flare-up. So there's a very strong possibility that this could happen again in the United States, where we have another temporary closure of life. Our normalcy for a little while probably won't be the same. We probably won't be back immediately to normal patient volumes across most clinics. Or you can have a doctor who's been a referral source for 25% of your patients, he could retire next month. And you could significantly lose a piece of your business. So I really think we all need to be thinking of how can we diversify our services beyond just providing physical therapy services. And I want to share a couple of resources that we have at ICE that you can go check out that would be good to think about. So if you go to ptonice.com and you click the resources tab, you'll see our PT strength equipment ebook. That's an ebook that I put together that has all the recommended equipment that we in the fitness athlete division believe is essential if you want to treat this population. So I think you need to go look at investing into that equipment if you want to provide performance-based services to fitness athletes. You can check out our clinical management of the fitness athlete courses. Our essential and live courses kind of set the foundation for everything. But when you get to that advanced course, the third course in that series, that's where we really dive into things like this. We talk about programming for fitness athletes, for strength athletes. We talk about programming mobility and accessory work, and we talk about developing business plans. So that's kind of the course for you if you really want to dive into the performance spectrum. You can check out Jason London's running course. I think this was an excellent opportunity if you're a running physical therapist to continue to provide services for those athletes. Like, I wish I'd had a handful of running clients that I was helping coach their strength program prior to coronavirus. Those would have been athletes that would have continued to pay me for my services virtually because they care about their performance so much, and they're still able to do all of their running. That would have been a great thing to be in. And then obviously I mentioned earlier, Rob Binding's telehealth course that starts up, I want to say it's May 25th. So opening your business up to being able to provide telehealth services is something that can help out not only during bad things such as coronavirus, but if you're in an area that snows regularly and you have patients that aren't able to get out at times, you want them to be able to jump onto a telehealth appointment instead of canceling. So try to diversify your business and be thinking over the next few weeks of how you can diversify to be better prepared for a market that's kind of like we are dealing with right now. Lesson number 3 is going to be a lesson for some of you. For me, it was just a really good reminder of how important it is for us as physical therapists to have a regular form of exercise that we participate in. So obviously as physical therapists, we're constantly prescribing strength exercises for people in pain. We're trying to impart a certain training effect on this human being. And at times when people are in pain, it can be really difficult to get the training effect that we want without creating significant negative symptoms. And that can be incredibly frustrating when you know if I get this patient's quad strength better, I can reduce their knee pain, but you can't find the right exercise to do that. I get a lot of questions about this, whether this is at courses that I'm teaching or whether it's through online through direct messages. People want to know because I put out so many different exercises on my various social media accounts. They want to know where I come up with so many exercises. Did I take a specific course that really helped me improve my knowledge of therapeutic exercises? Or is there a certain Instagram account or a Facebook account that I follow where I pick up a lot of stuff? And while there are certainly some things I've picked up at courses and there are certainly things that I pick up from other accounts, my answer is always actually pretty simple in how I've learned to prescribe the right exercise to individuals in front of me. And that simple answer is simply that I am constantly playing with my own movement. And that's something that we all need to really do a better job of. Coronavirus has really made me think about this more and more. It's been an amazing opportunity for me to work on my own movement a lot. So I've been working out on my back porch. You may have seen some videos of me on my Instagram story on the back porch, and I've had very limited equipment. So I have a couple of dumbbells, I have a barbell, and then I have a lot of resistance bands. So over the course of the last 6 weeks, I've just constantly played with changing movements up a little bit. What happens when I add a band to resist terminal knee extension or to resist the in range of that floor press, that bench press? What happens when I change my foot angle, my elbow angle? What happens when I lean my trunk forward more or stay more upright? And as I'm playing with these different changes, as I'm altering my tempo as well, I'm seeing what happens, like what joints are being loaded more, what joints are being loaded less, what muscles feel like they're taking on more of the stress or more of the tension when I'm in this position, what feels like it's taking on less. This has provided so much opportunity for me to learn of subtle changes that I can make that's going to translate incredibly well to my ability to prescribe exercise to patients in the future. I'm incredibly excited to see how these little exercise tweaks are going to make patients better over the next few weeks. So I kind of want to encourage two things depending on where you are in the movement spectrum. If you're somebody that's already regularly exercising, which I know so many ICE people are, I want to encourage you to take that one step further beyond your normal exercise routine. So maybe you CrossFit 5 days a week. Well, I want you twice a week for the next few months. After your workout, I want you to set aside 10 minutes. And I want you every day that you do this to choose a new movement. So for example, maybe tomorrow you do this. You're going to take 10 minutes and you're going to go do 10 minutes of air squats. During those 10 minutes though, you're going to play with altering your body position. You're going to think of sitting down versus sitting back. You're going to widen your stance. You're going to go more toe out, more toe in. You're going to apply bands to different areas. And I just want you to regularly feel what happens to your air squat when you alter those things. When you get back into the gym, I want you to go and work on your kipping mechanics one day for 10 minutes. And I want you to really focus one day on opening and closing your shoulder and having your shoulders be the generator of the kip swing. The next day, or later in that 10 minutes, I want you to spend a few minutes where you're like flexing your hips back and forth rather than opening and closing your shoulders to generate that kip swing. And I want you to feel where the force goes. Because then, as you're watching patients do kip swings in the future, and you're seeing them do that hip-generated kip versus the shoulder-generated, you're going to know where that applies unnecessary force because you have felt it on your own body. If you don't have a movement practice right now, I really want to encourage you to start looking at that. Obviously, there's mental and physical health benefits of exercising. Obviously, as a medical professional, we want you being a leader and doing the things that we as medical professionals preach about all the time. But really, I think you're just going to be shocked at if you start moving for 3 months or 6 months, hopefully forever after that, how much better you become at prescribing exercise because you felt what it's like to do the training effects, to apply that training stimulus that you're trying to get the patient in front of you to do. And I think you're going to see your outcomes dramatically improve just by becoming slightly more active yourself. So I hope these 3 points give you a few things to think about and reflect on as we hopefully start to return to a new level of normalcy over the next few weeks and months. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.